Here we have the current stock market update for Faraday Future Intelligent Electric Incorporated, stock ticker FFIE. Before we begin with the chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comment section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here we have the short-term time frame here, the 5-minute price chart. For the most part, this is the chart that I will be looking at because I do think that this is the price movement that is most influential currently. We recently saw a major spike higher in share prices, so I do think that that would need to be addressed rather than looking at the sort of long-term time frame. I think anybody that is familiar with the stock already knows the long-term time frame. The stock has been under major selling pressure for quite a while. And share prices have really been trading underwater here and in a bearish direction for quite some time. So rather than go over all of that again, I have already done that in prior videos. I would rather just focus on this more recent price movement here because there have been some suggestions that this stock price movement that we have seen recently is sort of an early indication of a major massive rally in the stock here going forward. So in this video, we're just going to look at some very specific price levels to try to understand whether or not that's a realistic proposal, whether or not that's a realistic assumption to be making about this stock. So as I said, currently, prior trends in the share price have been dramatically negative. I mean, if I just go back on the price chart even just a little bit, it becomes very obvious that this stock is not caught in an uptrend. I don't think that's a controversial statement. I don't think anybody's really going to be disagreeing with that. So rather than go back and forth over that, I would prefer to sort of look at the most recent price move, which saw prices rally from right around $2.50 all the way to close to roughly $11.50. It was a massive price movement of almost $9 full dollars, and this did get large sections of the market excited. I think that it sort of inspired a lot of YouTube videos to be posted about this topic, this stock specifically. And I do think that some of that information has been misleading as far as what these trend movements actually mean for the stock going forward. So specifically what I would want to point to here, point number one would be the fact that this most recent price movement here really did create a bit of a head and shoulders pattern on the price chart itself. For anybody that's not familiar with a head and shoulders pattern, I'll sort of draw this out quickly here. This is a very powerful price pattern that can be found in chart histories, and it generally tends to occur at the top of an uptrend, which is what we can see here. So as we can see, share prices did sort of trend higher. We did see a bit of an uptrend here, roughly equal to this distance here, this price movement here, this white line. But as we can see here, we've got something that does resemble a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder on the pattern. So ultimately, this is a bearish pattern. It does occur at the top of an uptrend, but what it does ultimately signal is the end of that uptrend. So essentially, I'll just quickly explain. You've got sort of a price high here, then prices are able to break again higher and form a new high, but then finally. The third high in this sequence is lower than the prior two highs, and in this case, you've got a bit of a lower right shoulder here, which is an even more bearish version of the pattern. So essentially, what this suggests is that prices were unable to reach these prior price levels at $8.64 or $11.40. Instead, we posted near-term highs coming in at $7.51. So ultimately what you have here is a head and shoulders pattern that suggests that this trend movement in the upward direction has now run its course. In addition to that, we can look at the indicator reading and we can see some additional signals here, which are going to be quite important for anybody trading this stock. So currently what we can see here would be a series of downward price movements, all of which suggest negative momentum readings for the RSI. On this time frame. So no matter how we draw this chart, there are a couple of different ways to draw it here. But no matter how we look at this, we can see that the overall trajectory here is clearly focused in the bearish direction. There really isn't much in the indicator reading itself, which is pointed upward, and this does suggest that this head and shoulders pattern is more valid given the fact that the current momentum that is governing the stock is clearly focused in the downside direction. So as things currently stand, we have started to form a bit of a base in the RSI. The RSI is the purple line on the bottom of the price chart here. The yellow line would be the moving average of the relative strength index. So, but the main idea here is that the overall trend momentum is clearly focused on one direction of the market, and this is not in the positive direction. So, this is one of the main reasons why I would suggest that, most of the optimism that I've been seeing in other YouTube videos, I think that it's just completely misled, and it's not. It's really not focusing on what is actually going on in this price chart. So this is unfortunate because I do think that there are some people that have been sucked into long positions during this upward rally. And that's really the worst possible time to buy a stock. I mean, if a stock is trending higher, I mean, what are you ultimately doing here? You're buying high only to have to sell low later when the share price is just working against the position so much, and losses have accumulated to such an extent that the position is no longer viable and it has to be closed at a loss. So this is a very unfortunate set of circumstances, and I do, from what I've seen in the comments, I've asked people on several occasions in these videos to sort of explain, how their trade has gone and when exactly did they get in, how did they learn about this stock in the first place. Many people that were responding in the comments learned about this stock through other YouTubers, and the unfortunate reality is that most of these people have no idea what they're talking about. They have no experience in the market. It's just a person who wanted to make a YouTube channel. I mean, they're not experts in any way, and some of them are recommending these stocks simply because they have low share price values. That on its own is not enough. I mean, you could just as easily make the argument that it's cheap for a reason. Currently, what we're seeing here is a share price, that was trading at less than $3 per share. So overall, what we're looking at here is a share price movement that has now retraced more than 61.8% of its entire trending move here. So ultimately, what this now targets would be the $5, just above the $5 level, which is where the 78.6% Fibonacci retracement currently rests. The most recent closing price came in at 548. So this does suggest that we still have more downside before there would be any hope of reaching a Fibonacci support zone here going forward. But then what's even more unfortunate from there is that if we do break below this 786% retracement level, what this ultimately suggests then is that a full retracement of this entire trending move would then be expected. So in other words, once we fall through 78.6%, the next downside retracement target becomes the 100% retracement level. So what that really means is that this entire price movement would then have reversed, and all of these short-term gains would then have been lost. So we will have to take a look at the stock in a few days and see if this is how this is how things actually play out for the stock. But currently, this is my expectation, and I do not currently recommend this stock for trading. So here's the current market analysis for Faraday Future Intelligent Electric Incorporated, stock ticker FFIE. Our High Value Trading Strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market-beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.